What most of us did not know, that's why we had to play that introductory video about the new partnership that emerged between the African continent that has a lot of youths and the European continent represented by Great Britain, and then the hybrid of relationship with the US. This unity has turned what we used to call neural networks in computer science and has elevated it from the side discussions in scientific corridors, in the elite institutions like Harvard, like Yale, Cambridge. It has moved it now to global consciousness. That is why we did a series in the month of April. If you weren't able to get that series, please go and get it. It laid the foundation. It was the coronation series. It led on to the significant event in the geopolitical arena in Britain, and it reverberated around the whole world because there were 200 different world leaders that attended the coronation. And we've now been given permission to have this series across the next 12 months. So today, we're specifically reviewing what is AI doing to the way we work, number one. What is AI doing to what our staff that we employed 2 years ago, 3 years ago, can now do if they deploy the new tool called AI? What can your team honestly do now that they couldn't do 6 months ago, 6 weeks ago, and 6 years ago? So if you are in this chat room right now, please go to your chat box if you're on Zoom. Those of you that had the privileged access and will send the invitation on Zoom, please go to the chat box and type in your objective for joining us today. Because you are going to need to share this with your friends. Those of you in the chat room finding out whether this is AI, I need to let you know it is not just AI, it's more than AI. You are going to leave this room today transformed in the way you hold meetings, in the way you record meetings, in the way you implement action plans for meetings. You're going to have all of that done today. Why? Because the paradigm has shifted. Most people do not know that, but I must let you know that what you did 6 months ago, what you did 6 years ago, all of them are now put in the pages of history. Because yesterday, what really spiked up this event for us to have a national discussion, because I had the privilege of seeing the letter that was written by Elon Musk, signed by Mark Zuckerberg, signed by the CEO of Google. We all co-signed that letter with the understanding that the government and the political power will respond positively. However, we were disappointed when we saw the government response to it. So please, I need you to put in the chat box, if you're on Zoom, why you came to this special meeting today. If you are on Facebook Messenger, you can DM it via Facebook Messenger, or I can very easily also advise you people that are on Facebook Live, go to the comment section now, right now, and type in the comment section 2, 3, or 4 things hope to gain from today's discussion, because this is serious, folks. The American banks pay $4,000 for this same information that you're having right now. The American banks pay $4,000. Educationists and people in teaching and research have a subsidized ticket at $1,000. So what we are discussing today is not fables, is very serious points that will impact the way your staff, that you are paying money every month to work for you, the way they work. The way your students that you are paid to teach, the way they learn. And if you're a business owner, the way we did business in 1986 is how some people are still doing business now. I mentioned 1986 because you can verify this. My colleague yesterday down in Cambridge, his name is Dr. Jeffrey Hinton. Please write his name down. Jeffrey Hinton. We had an extensive discussion looking at what will the workplace look like in the next 3 years. Is going to be transformed. Is irrelevant what you think, because what is going to happen will happen as a result of what all of us learned during lockdown. This is one of the unintended consequences of the lockdown. Because, you know, before lockdown, everybody thought that what I'm holding now, you see what I'm holding now, was only a cell phone. Everybody thought it was a cell phone. You use it to make calls and receive calls. That's what everybody thought this device was. But during lockdown, it transformed to a lifeline. That means it became a life-saving device. During lockdown, most of us were invited to attend meetings on a place called Zoom, like this. Before lockdown and before COVID, Zoom was what you did with a camera lens. You zoom in, you turn it until you see the image very sharp, and you took it. But during lockdown, all of us in Asia, thank you for those of you that joined from Asia. I'm surprised how the network went fast. All of us in Canada, all of us in mainland USA, the people in Japan, all of us were forced. We were not given the option. We were forced to start using specific tools that we didn't even know existed. We were used to doing what is called Skype call. I used to do what is called a Skype call. S-K-P-E, Skype. That's what they call it then, Skype calls. But when lockdown hit, Microsoft sent me an email, and my entire school operation was moved from physical to what they now told us was something called Teams, Microsoft Teams, who is the junior brother to Skype. So we had a plethora of meeting platforms, all of us. What most of you did not know, but some of us knew, was that we had to rely on artificial intelligence to attend Zoom meetings. Why? Because when lockdown hit, I was serving as a member of the official government emergency team. That means if anything is going wrong in the nation, they call people together. I was appointed before lockdown to be part of that government emergency committee. And it was to deal with the emergency of Brexit. That's why it was set up. But when lockdown came, they grafted all of us. We didn't have a choice. And they dumped all of us in the emergency meetings. So good old Boris Johnson sent us a link. And at 9 a.m., all of us had to go to that meeting. And I also had to attend a class at 9 a.m. I had to give a class at 9 a.m. And I had other things happening at 9 a.m. So what did I do? I set up my Zoom call in the kitchen on one device for the emergency meeting. I set up another Zoom call on my cell phone in the sitting room. So I put up one in the kitchen diner, I put one in the sitting room and one in the bedroom. And I was running like a headless chicken between one room and the other to hear what was happening. Until one of my students, one of my mentees exposed me to what they were developing using AI. And with that AI tool, I'm going to make it available to you today. I'm not just going to say in terms of parable, I'm going to give you the opportunity to also go and test it to see whether what I'm telling you is a true or just story. With this AI tool developed in Silicon Valley by Sam Oduton, and this what I'm telling you now is public knowledge. I'm going to share it with you. I'm going to put a link here. You go to Google, you go and read it and find out whether it's true. It transformed my daily activity. I was struggling to attend 3 Zoom meetings at once, right? One from Downing Street because of lockdown and they wanted to consider what's happening, COVID or no COVID. Another one from my school because I still had to teach. And the third one from other societies I belong to. That was headache to attend 3 Zoom meetings all at the same time. So that's why I had to get multiple devices. So when my mentee, Sam, sent me a link, one link, I clicked on it, I registered with my email address. It now gave me the capability to be able to attend 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different Zoom meetings at the same time from one device. Let me just say this slowly again so that everybody follows me. When in a Zoom meeting now, somebody sends me an invite to a Zoom meeting. I'm already busy. I'm attending one already. From what my prodigy did, it gave me the capability to be able to attend another Zoom meeting, 2, a third Zoom meeting, 3, a fourth Zoom meeting, 4, a fifth Zoom meeting, 5, up to 60 simultaneous Zoom meeting from only one device. Can you see how transformational it is? This is the reason why I say all of you that are on this call, please note it now. Please. I'm telling you this because it's very important that people know that we are not here to discuss conspiracy theories. We're not here to discuss what can happen. We are telling you what I have experienced. And now, when my AI attends Zoom meetings for me, so I stopped sending apologies. Before, I said, sorry, I have 4 Zoom meetings already booked for 9 o'clock, I can't attend, or for 11 o'clock, I can't attend. No. Now, my AI attends the Zoom meeting on my behalf, takes notes of every single thing said in the meeting. Whether it's a medical meeting, is a technology meeting, or is a political meeting, it doesn't matter. My AI understands the registers. That means the key words, the big words used, the vocabulary, takes the notes. This was during lockdown. And at the end of the meeting, gives me the action points. That means what they said in the meeting we should do. Say on Thursday, everybody should make a call, or on Friday, everybody should do X, or on Monday, everybody. So it took the action points, this same AI, in the 60 Zoom meetings, is able to do it. This AI, if there is a follow-up meeting, that means today's meeting will end at 4 o'clock, where we are going to have another meeting next week, Wednesday at 6:30. This AI goes to my calendar, Google Calendar, and books the new meetings for me. This is what I'm trying to tell you, that every staff I have before lockdown operated in one way. After lockdown, we have had to give them the power to be able to use these AI tools. Some of you are aware I'm a professor, and I teach at the School of Economics in London. You are aware of that. All my classes since lockdown have now had the attendance of this AI on all the classes. So if a student is unable to attend the class, this AI attends on the student's behalf, takes notes on the student's behalf, and then interacts with the student so that the student does not lose out in what was taught in class. Even after I will demo some of this for you. Before lockdown, we used to go for meetings, we'll take notes, and after taking notes, we'll agree what to say. And then next time we meet, we have to agree what they call the minutes of the meeting. That means who said what, when, and how. After lockdown, we no longer do that because the AI does it for us. The AI authenticates, validates, and verifies. Let me say this very slowly. The AI tool that attended the meeting with us comes back to tell us the minutes of the meeting, comes back to authenticate it to what was said, verify everything that was said, and gives us the opportunity to correct. So I'm sticking to this as one of the fundamental changes companies run and companies are managed. Institutions that are governmental, institutions that are charitable, institutions that are commercial, it doesn't matter. All the banks, it doesn't matter. McKinsey just came out that the professional today that works spends an average of 45% of their time attending meetings. Can you believe that? 45% of our professional lives, of the average professional, is spent attending meetings. Meanwhile, I send my AIs to go and attend meetings for me. And people are struggling to attend meetings and in between meetings. And the more meetings my AI attends, the more it gets used to the accent of the different individuals making contribution in the meeting. So before, when it does its own transcription, it's about 85% correct. Then it moved on to about 95% correct. Now it's 100% correct. It was so useful that when I was asked to come on royal duties for Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, some of you know that one of my roles is specifically to education and to work with Her Majesty's Department of Education. And some of you are aware of that. If not, you can check my post all the way from 2014 to date. You will see some of the things we've done. So you can go to my archives and see what we did then. What took me one whole week to do then is now literally taking me half an hour to do now, thanks to AI. And then when it came to writing, because of the work I did with the Prince's Trust and the Charitable Foundation of Princess Diana, when it came to time for us to document it, can you guess what? I got my AI to write the entire report, and also wrote for my AI to please, at the end of 2,000 words, break up and go to the next chapter, break up and go to the next chapter. So I gave it instruction to chapterize it based on 2,000 words. And let me just show you now. I know some of you already bought the book without knowing, but I need to demonstrate to you. Let me show you the book that came out of that report of the charitable activities of Princess Diana when we were celebrating Diana's 60th anniversary. There was a birthday 60th anniversary that was celebrated by Prince William was there, Prince Harry was there, and it took place inside Kensington Palace. But let me just show you, because I need to be graphical in making you understand that every single person on this call today, for having the technical knowledge and ability to come on this call, that's all you need to be able to hit your multi-million-dollar project, period. But don't take my word for it. Ask Google. Don't take my word for it. Let me do a demo to you on what happened to the report that the AI wrote on Princess Diana, that then became a book on Amazon that became #1 bestseller on Amazon, and then bestseller on Barnes and Nobles, and then bestseller on all the top bookstores. The book was not written word for word by me. No, no, no. The entire manuscript was generated by AI. All I did was to edit. That means the chapter that was chapter 1, I moved it to chapter 2, and then we did an introduction. I just did some of the polishing and editing. And it outsold every single book written by humans. This is before ChatGPT. This is before all the newfangled thing that you are seeing now. Long before ChatGPT, there were AI tools that assisted all of us that were involved in education, involved in government, involved in employment, and involved in entrepreneurship. Let me just I better just do it. So let me do it live, because let's go and ask Google. Let's go Google. Let me share the screen. I share the screen. Let's go here. Let's go. Yes, here is it. Let's see. Okay. If you can see my change of screen, please type in screen. I've just changed my screen now. I hope you can see it. If you can see it, please, I would like you to just type in screen so that I know you're seeing my screen. I'm changing my screen so that I can do a quick demo to you about the potential, not the potential really, the actualized power of AI in making $1 million bucks. Let me just quickly share this. Let me click on this. I'm sharing this now. Now Google comes up. So this is what happened during lockdown. I need everybody on this call to look now. Can you all see it? Please type that you can see it so that I know that I don't want you to miss any of the steps. I want to take you step by step, exactly what we did. So that when somebody starts arguing with you tomorrow or debating with you, whether or not it's true, you tell them what you saw. So I said it was on Princess Diana, and on Amazon, and the book Amazon lists it as written by me, but you already know the background. I only inspired the writing of the book. It was written by AI, and I'm going to make that tool available to all of you on this call. And if you are free, can you see it? Can you all see what happened now? I just typed in Princess Diana, Amazon, and then Professor Christy Mafidon. Now, if you are on any computer anywhere in the world, can you do the same, please? Type in Princess Diana, Amazon, and Professor Christy Mafidon. Because I want this interaction to be experiential. I don't want you to say you heard from me. I want you to be able to say, I experienced it. I did it. I want you to type in Princess Diana, Amazon, and Professor Christy Mafidon. And we will show you how any fool on planet Earth, any fool, you don't have to be smart, any fool can literally become a multimillionaire in their niche thanks to AI. So if you have already gotten your Amazon page up, thank you. Those that are seeing it, thank you. Isaac, thank you. Thank you for your comments. If you are not interacting with us, we might have to throw you out later in the second half, because this is a serious business. So everybody that has seen the screen, thank you. So what I want you to do, if you have typed in Princess Diana, Amazon, and Professor Christy Mafidon, if you type in those strings of words, because I'm trying to show you what prompt engineering is, that means optimizing your search output from a search engine. We used to teach this down in the east end of London at Queen Mary, a 12-week semester course on how to understand a search and search mechanism. Now, can you see that? The first option it gives me here is Amazon. I click on it. Please click on it and type Amazon in the chat box. Now, when you get to the Amazon page, look at it. This is a book that came out of a report that was generated by AI. This entire book that has been a bestseller. I'll tell you where it is on the bestseller list today. Let's go down. Let's see. Bestseller. Can you see? Can you see the position on bestseller now? In biographies and memoirs, in women biographies. So this is a best-selling book. But who wrote it? Amazon says, I am the person that wrote it. But do you want to know the whole truth? Click on the book yourself. When you click on the book, the cover of the book says, can you see the cover of the book? The first royal biography authored by AI. I even wrote it there in front of the book that I did not write the book. Ladies and gentlemen, somebody could not get into this. I will share this screen. Let me share this screen on the chat box. I'll put the link in the chat box so that everybody can go look at this. Because I'm not just telling you a story. I'm not giving you a lecture. I know it's called Coronation Lectures, but I'm not giving you a lecture. I'm putting right now in the chat box. I put it in the chat box. This is the link to the Amazon best-selling book, Barnes & Noble best-selling book, all the great bookshop best-selling book. The entire book was written by AI. But they credit me with writing the book. What I did was not write the book. I inspired. That means I gave the idea to my AI to generate the manuscript of the book. And the entire thing was done in less than 4 hours. This is where it's going to knock every staff you've employed, every member of your team. If you don't give them these tools, they will use old tools and they will underperform, and your team will underperform. If you give them these new tools, guess what happens? They will have more time with their family. And then they will have more time to do more thinking, and they will have more time to do better work. So it's not just a time-saving device, it's the consequences of having that. Thank you for seeing that. Atu Singh, you say, I saw that on Google. Thank you. Thank you very much. So everybody on this call, this is one simple message. If you forget everything I said today, please, I know some of you have been wanting to write a book. If you've been wanting to write a book, please put up your hand electronically. So interact, so put up your hand electronically. Just click on hand raising facility of Zoom. If you've been wanting to write a book before, put up your hand. You've been wanting to write a book, put up your hand. Put up your hand, thank you. Put up your hand. And you've been wanting to write a book because you have a message given to you to heal humanity. You've been wanting to write a book maybe about marriage that will stop some people from getting divorced. You have some wisdom as a mother. You want to write a book for younger mothers to be able to better raise their children. You want to write a book as a lady so that young girls can be inspired by you. You want to write a book in your discipline to be able to express a new idea. But you have not been able to write a book. 6 months have gone past. 1 year have gone past. 2 years have gone past. 3 years have gone past. I want to tell you today, if you're on this call, that whole entire book will be completed by Monday next week. I mean, in the next 3 days. Today is Friday. Tomorrow is Saturday. And then Sunday. By Monday, all of you that put up your hands will complete your book 100%. I am not trying to encourage you. I'm not trying to explain to you that it can happen. I will show you another book that was written by a 6-year-old. A 6-year-old, 9-year-old, and 10-year-old, they wrote a book. So you don't have an excuse. I will show you another book that was written by a 96-year-old. Written in the sense that the 96-year-old inspired the writing of the book. Because I'm not saying you are going to write every word in the book. Remember, don't get me wrong. You are not going to write every word in the book. No, no, no. You are going to come up with a book like this. Some of you have seen the book. You were amazed at how I was able to finish this book. This book written by or ghost written for Prince Harry. Some of you saw on television. What I did, I was able to speed read the entire book, over 400 pages long. I was able to read the whole thing and complete reading it in minutes. Did you hear this? This is 400 pages of written text. I was able to complete the reading of this entire book in minutes. I'm not telling you as a private discussion. I'll take you online now and show you what happened when this book was released. CNN contacted me because they know I'm a speed reader, quote unquote speed reader. And you too can be a speed reader. Don't tell me you read 20. Another point I was going to raise, and I mustn't forget that, is that if you are a normal human being, you read about 200 words a minute, normal human being. But if you are one of my students, we train you, not just teach you, we train you. You must read at least 4 times that or 5 times that. So you read about 1,000 words a minute. If you're one of my students or one of my proteges that have been on any of my courses, I'm not promoting it here because it's oversubscribed. I'm not asking you to join my course. It's oversubscribed. But what I'm trying to explain to you is optimizing everything you are doing thanks to AI. So our speed reading course that is based on Genius formula allows you to be able to read 1,000 words a minute. In 1 minute, you read 1,000 words, right? All my staff and I, we read up to 3,000 words a minute. 3,000 words a minute. That's how I was able to cover this entire book in minutes. Because the BBC, CNN, and all the top media wanted somebody that can review the book. You see me sometimes doing a paper review. You do, I do, I read 14 newspapers every day of my life. 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And any idiot can do that. Any idiot. All you need to do is to go on this speed reading training course. So if you've bought a book by now, it's been sitting on your shelf, you've not read it, that is prodigal. That is wasteful. You bought the book because you thought the information there is useful to you. So why would you buy the book and put it on the shelf? Is that self-development or shelf development? Are you using it to develop yourself or using it to develop yourself? So every book in your house, you must clean it up. That means read it page by page, by page by page, complete from cover to cover. If you were my prodigy, because I teach specific techniques and strategies for you to speed read. So that if there's anything hidden in an email to you, you've read it. How can you have 60 unread emails? Really? What if what is in the unread email is something that it will boost your business or boost your career or change your direction? Why would you have unread emails? Because you have been given the wrong tools. It's not your fault. You read at snail speed. You saw what happened in Parliament when they were publishing the report. They dragged me in because they wanted me to read the entire report and give a synopsis, what you people call an executive summary. That means you read a report that is 50 pages long, and then you summarize it in 1 page and give it to them. You saw me doing that with the politicians. Those of you that were watching the video earlier on, you saw me doing that when the South African president came on a state visit and had to go to Lancaster House, had to go to Kew Gardens. You saw all of that. Because most people just were taught the wrong way to read in school. And then they carry that on to the workplace, which is a wrong and diabolical way to read. So using the power of AI now, we can boost your reading speed when you come on our course. Like I said, I'm not advertising it because people that have been on it are asking their friends and family to come, and there's even a waiting list on people that want to come on the speed reading program. But there are 3 tricks I can show you on how to be able to work that and get that done without queries. Okay, so let's go back to Google. I'm going to show you what I was telling you now about how AI will help you generate your annual report. You know, as a charity, as an institution, every year you have to write what is called an annual report. You give it to your shareholders, or you give it to your board of directors, or you give it to stakeholders in the company. Because they want to know how well you did, they want to know your areas of struggles, they want to know your areas of triumphs, so they are able to assist you. Thank you for those that are very interactive. Thank you. If you have any questions, please don't be ashamed, because all of us are learning. Please, let me tell you one thing. Because they call me a professor does not mean I know everything about every subject. No, no, no. 1,000 times no. So if you have any questions regarding AI and how AI can turbocharge your personal productivity, your professional productivity, or your business productivity, please put it in the chat box, because all of us are here to learn. Nobody knows it all. I only know a bit that I have used, and that's what I'm sharing with you. I cannot be arrogant enough to say I even know more than my son or my daughter. I can't be arrogant enough to say because I'm their father, I know more than them. No, no, no. All of us are learning animals. All of us are learning. That is why there's a new version of you today compared to last year. What you knew last year is different and inferior to what you now know. So please do not be afraid or ashamed to ask any questions about what we are discussing today. Because the question you refuse to ask may go and cost you $1 million mistake, or cost your company $1 million mistake, or cost your institution $1 million mistake. The question you think is stupid, you don't want to embarrass yourself. No, that's a lie. There's no question that is embarrassing. Let me tell you a story about our late Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. There's this annual meeting that takes place for the Commonwealth. I'm saying this because it's true. It came out later. When new technology were being introduced, the Queen of the United Kingdom and 56 other nations, Commonwealth nations, she was not ashamed to ask from her grandchildren. Can you imagine that? This is the queen that sits on the throne, that wears a crown, was asking her grandchildren about, you guessed it, the new way of communicating that they call Snapchat. The Queen of England was asking questions from her grandchildren, not from her children, from her grandchildren about IG. That is the story behind today. The Queen created an Instagram page. That's how royalty, a very old institution, 1,000 years old, started using technology before the Prime Minister. The Queen Elizabeth II used more technology than Theresa May, then Prime Minister. I'm saying this is it's not something you can debate. You can go online now, you will see the royal family of Great Britain has an Instagram account because the Queen asked her grandchildren, what is this? And they educated her. They told her how powerful it is in communicating with other countries. So the Queen, 96-year-old woman, or then she was 90, 90-year-old woman was using technology that teenagers use. That's why before the Queen died, the Queen also had what is called a Twitter handle. And the Queen created hashtags for specific events and the work that the palace was doing. I'm telling you this because I'm privileged to some information how these things came about. So it wasn't a professor of engineering that talked to the Queen, a professor of computer science that talked to the Queen. No, it was an informal discussion she had with her grandchildren that brought out the necessity for the royal family to have a Facebook account. The Queen, the palace has a LinkedIn page. For those of you that think, oh no, that's beneath me. No, because they are very effective communication tools that goes across time zones, goes across geographical boundaries, goes across linguistic boundaries. So please, if you have any question, feel at home and put it in the chat box. And any of you that is itching to write a book, if you're in the London area, I'll see whether there's still a space is left for the bank holiday. The bank holiday, Monday bank holiday, we're having an all-day training in the City of London. City of London. If any of you, Whitechapel, any of you in the East End, you know the City of London, and I'll see whether there are spaces still available. I think it's fully booked, but I'll let you know whether there are spaces available for those of you that are interested in that. That's for authoring a book. You've seen that. So because of the success of the book we wrote with Princess Diana, we then rewrote the Queen Elizabeth biography that won the BAFTA. Are you listening to what I'm saying? Okay, let's go back. Let's go back to Google now. Let's go and share Google. Take us back. Please do not forget to write your questions in the comment section. If you're on Facebook Live, please don't. If you're on Instagram, put the question there because I want everybody to feel included in this big discussion on AI. And I need all of you that are listening to us, either on Clubhouse or Twitter Spaces, to do exactly the same thing. It will bless me and it will bless you. Knowledge is something that if you share, the more you share knowledge, the more you get. This is why knowledge is, anyone that says, oh, this is my own, is very secretive about it, that knowledge will shrink and become irrelevant. I have seen that the more knowledge I share, the more people get blessed, the more I then get to know, the more validation I get. So that's why I will live my life sharing knowledge and I will die sharing knowledge. It's as simple as that. Simple as that. You have the Williams sisters, they play tennis. They live their life playing tennis. Yes, simple. Tiger Woods lives his life playing golf. That's true. Sadly, Tina Turner is somebody that I really love, great woman. She was a great musician. She lived her life singing and entertaining people. I live my life training and teaching and empowering you. That's essentially what I'm there for. So please put your questions here and I will give you opportunity to also join me on LinkedIn. Those of you on Zoom, I'll give my LinkedIn, I'll share it later. Now let's go to the internet again. And let's now, yeah, that's the Diana one. Let's leave this now and go back and see this. Yes, here we go. So this is it. Back to Google. And the question I asked you earlier about generating income and radically altering your revenue, changing the dynamics of your thinking in terms of writing. So that was Diana. Then we did another one on Queen Elizabeth II. I'll show you this now. I didn't tell you the prompt. Let me go back. I need to tell you the prompt. I need to make all of you prompt engineers. So now I need you to go back to your Google box and type in BAFTA Awards for Queen Elizabeth biography. by Professor Chris Imafidon. Professor Chris Imafidon. Okay, please type those words in. BAFTA Award for Queen Elizabeth, Queen Imafidon. So you can see this now. This book won a BAFTA. Can you see this? This book won a BAFTA award. This book opened the way for a BAFTA. I know some of you have seen this. This is a book that won the BAFTA. Can you see it now? That's the book. You can do a screen capture of this and go and verify later. Because NBC News then took a quote on this. 90 things you didn't know about the Queen of England. And this was as far back as, let me tell you the power of technology, because we have been almost deceived into believing a lie. This was as far back as 2016. Can you see that? December the 22nd, 2016. You can easily validate this. So folks, we are not just seeing these new tools coming up now. They have been here, but they've not been available to the general public. That's what's happening. They have been always there for you to generate income, always there for you to change lives. This is it. In 2016, December, the biography of personality and leadership has inspired things and changed things. All the way from when Mrs. Thatcher was prime minister to when John Major was prime minister, every single thing that's in the book. I think it's out of print now. We're going to, this particular one is out of print. I can tell you the one that is in print. Please, I'm not telling you to go and buy this book. I'm just using them as case studies. Please, I hope you get my point. I'm not selling any book. I can't spend my time selling books. I'm not a bookseller. I'm a knowledge provider for those that want to empower themselves. So now, let's go with this. Let me show you another one. Now, when it came to the Platinum Jubilee, we now generated a new book using AI. Let me put this. Please change the search now. Queen Elizabeth biography, then my name. Type that now on your Google, please. All of you, type this on your Google. Type this. I need all of you to please type this on Google. Yeah, I can see this now. Type it on Google and then see what the output is. Queen Elizabeth biography, then Chris Imafidon. Type it now. Because it will tell you more about the Platinum Jubilee. You've seen some of the things I'm doing. Now I'm lifting it for you to be able to see it. Can you see this? This is the old book. This is the old book. The one that won the BAFTA, The Secrets of Queen Elizabeth II. I told you about that. That was serialized. This was serialized in a British newspaper. I need to put this here because the newspaper serialized this. And let me go back here. Please watch this because you have to be very careful. Watch this, see what happens now. Then see the follow-up, the new edition of the book. Can you see this? The new edition of the book, written by what? I know you can guess it. Written by what? Look at the book. The new edition of the book. Let me pull this out. I love to do this live demo because you can see it immediately. And then we can put Amazon here. And it gives us this. Allow. And here is it. I'll take this. and end it and then be able to show you. Because I'm doing this I need to demonstrate this point to you. I don't know, I don't want us to debate it at all. If we can demonstrate it, why debate whether this is possible or not? I'm not here to debate that. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Yes. Here we go. Please ask your questions. Can you see the book now? This is the book. This is the new edition of the book. Look at what it's saying here. Wall Street Journal, best-selling author. Wall Street Journal, ladies and gentlemen. But look at the book very clearly. It's written here, biography written by AI. AI writes a book that becomes a Wall Street Journal best-selling author. Listen, this is not a joke. I need you to, all of you, to see this. Let me see whether I can cut this size, cut it, and give this to you as a gift for spending your Saturday, your weekend with me. You're starting your weekend with me. Let's give this as a gift to everybody here. I'm giving this to you as a gift. I put a link now in the chat box. I need you to go and click on it. Open your eyes very carefully. Read what is on the front of the book. Amazon says I, Professor Imafidon, is the author of the book. I am telling you, I did not author the book. And I didn't even hide it from Amazon. I didn't put it in page 2 or page 3 or in fine print or hide it. I put it in the front page of the book. This is why I'm giving this to you. That I did not write one single word of the book. I didn't. God is my witness. And I put it in the front cover, yet people rush to Amazon, rush to Barnes & Noble, write me a wonderful letter, nominate me for awards. Who should really be getting the award? Is the AI that should be getting the award. Because the AI is the producer of the manuscript. I just edited the manuscript. I just moved the chapters around. I just checked the indexing. I did not write one word of the book. The truth must be said. And I have to be transparent upfront to let you know that the reason you have not written your book or books, I'll show you another book we are working on now, multiple books. There are books inside you based on your life experience. There are books inside you based on your wisdom. There are books inside you based on your failures. You know, when you did something and failed, then you learned something from it, you're supposed to write a book about it. You're supposed to write a book about it. You don't have to be a professor to write a book. And I will show you, like I told you, 6-year-old. 6-year-old. Is a 6-year-old a professor? Because some of you think you have to be encyclopedic about the book. No, you are just saying your journey, how you made it as a mother, or how you made it as a wife, or how you made it as an undergraduate student. You are narrating your own side of the story so that somebody can read it and then be inspired to do like you, or to exceed what you have done, or to say, oh, I didn't know that Professor Chris was also autistic. That's why I told people. My teacher in my school told me that I'm autistic. The teacher in my school wrote on my school report that I cannot learn because I'm autistic. It's true. The teacher said it. And I went home and told my mom about it because I didn't know what that meant. So I just said, guess what happened in school today? Mommy, this is what the teacher said. And of course, my mom was very cross. My mom phoned my grandmother to say, come, they are saying that our son cannot learn. And my grandmother came and she spoke to me and said, please don't mind the teacher. Don't mind the teacher at all. You're a very bright boy. You're a good boy. You can learn. And she showed me some tricks. And the information I'm This information I'm sharing with you is available on the internet. I think about 7 or 8 years ago, the newspaper interviewed me again and said, "Oh, you were autistic." I told them the whole story. So if you think you're autistic, you're dyslexic, you have dyscalculia, you have any disease that is stopping you from doing anything, no. You can at least get your AI to assist you in able to do it. Okay, now let me see. I'll take some questions and then I would go to part 2 of our presentation, which will show you how AI assists me every day to attend meetings. Every day. Face-to-face meeting, e-meetings, Zoom meetings, Teams meetings, Google meetings, AI assists me. Okay. Face-to-face lecture. When I'm lecturing, AI assists me. When I'm delivering any presentation, AI assists me. And if you are planning a pitch, AI can easily assist you. So if you are still debating whether or not you should spend 6 hours doing one thing, AI can reduce it to 6 minutes. If you ever use Google at all, if you have ever used Google or done any research on anything as a lawyer preparing your case, as a doctor getting ready for your clinic, as anyone that is involved in what is called knowledge-based economy, this is your golden era. And if you use the right tools, all your competitors will look as if they are defeated. If you use the wrong tool, you will work as hard as your competitors and you will not get results. Okay, let's quickly take some questions. Thank you for your comments. Wow, thanks for your kind words. Thank you, thank you. Don't put your kind words here. Go and put it on my LinkedIn page. That will help me. Thank you. Oh, someone logged in from Liberia. Thank you. Wow, people logged in from anywhere. Okay, first question. How do you use Fireflies to write a book? Oh, that's easy. That's very technical. What I'm going to say later about Fireflies. Fireflies, for those of you that are not familiar, Fireflies is a specific AI tool that assists you in not just attending meetings, but in what is called transcription, be it medical transcription or legal transcription. Is an intelligent transcribing tool. What do I mean by that? My brother used to have a clinic in California. And what most people didn't know, doctors in California get paid one of the highest. It was New York, Florida, or California if you want to get paid. My junior brother had a clinic in California. And when you finish seeing a patient in California, you may want to refer the patient to the medical center, the UCLA. If you hire a secretary in California, it's very expensive. So what do? They speak out the letter because we speak faster than we write. And that letter is then downloaded by somebody in a place called Bangalore, India. And that letter, that downloaded file is transcribed, that's put into words. So from voice to text and sent back to UCLA or sent back to the patient. Can you imagine this? A patient is waiting in front of a doctor in California, seen by a doctor in California. But listen to this. The back end is outsourced to an inexpensive outfit in India, over 7,000 miles away. And because of the time difference, when the clinic ends in California, that's when the Indians are waking up. So at the end of each clinic, the entire paperwork is done by somebody in India, and the person is paid less. Write this down. This will clear up your nostrils. Less than 30% of the fee you pay a normal California to do the job. Today, your AI does the job in California for niche 0%. Did you get what I just explained now? You have a medical practice, it's in California, you see your patients in California, and your secretary is in Bangalore. And you're happy to do that because you are paying them 30% of what you would otherwise have paid in California. Yes, everybody's happy. But with the AI, thanks to Sam Adutan, who is championing the development of Fireflies and gave me the opportunity to participate in testing it, before it hit the wider market, and even in fact, up to now, the different versions are coming out, is having more capabilities, is able to do things for you that you cannot even imagine as a Chrome extension. Is done 100% for you in the state of California, and you pay nothing. So this is the life we now live. The ones our parents would have literally died to live. When you do the transcription of any book, they are ready to roll. Thanks for asking me that very, very sound question, Stan. Please, if you follow me, Stan, on LinkedIn, if you should please follow me on LinkedIn, because this conversation is even lengthier. Is a whole week's teaching on the capabilities of Fred. And there's a new one now called Ask Fred, which is almost like ChatGPT, able to do for you what Google does for you, what ChatGPT does for you, what Perplexity does for you, all combined. That means when you type something in the search box of your Google, it gives you links to what is related to it. But Fred gives you the pros and then gives you the individual link. I don't know whether we can try that here. I think we can try that. How do you use AI to write an annual report? Oh, very easy. Very, very easy. It's so easy. It's the same thing. How do you use AI to write a book? I mean, it's essentially the same thing. I'll see whether I can do a demo on that. Very good question. Very good question. I'm interested in how AI will revolutionize tomorrow's education. Can you go deeper on the topic? Yes, indeed. Except that we've done aspects of this online. Let me explain to you what AI really does for us. We have used it at the Excellence in Education Institute in London for the past 9 or 10 years. Let me see when I can do a demo. I better just do a quick demo there, how it's changing education and learning and training. So it's changing education, formal education. It's changing training, which is skills acquisition. And it's changing learning of your staff. Is one spectrum. Whether they are your students or members of your team or members of your family, is essentially the same spectrum. You're giving them new tools and you are empowering them to do more. I need to quickly show you MangaHigh, because MangaHigh does it best. MangaHigh is a software that gives my students algebraic exercises, statistic exercises. I'm just giving you an example in maths. Then you would then do the test. At the end of all textbooks, there are exercises. So with MangaHigh, you will do the test. When you do the test, the AI will mark it and find out the ones you got wrong, and they take you back to the section that you need to now learn to be able to get it right, and they give you more work on that. But I should do a demo. I hate talking about it. I should do a demo. Let me show you some demo here. Any school child can pass mathematics now. No school child today should fail mathematics. None. If you fail, it's not because you are bright, it's because of the tools you are using. Let me show you. I think we did essential needs. I should be able to pull that up. GTV. with Kid Mafidon. We should have that here. We should be able to have this here. Thank you for all the things you have written. Uh-huh. Pull this up. Thank you for all of you that wrote. Okay, here is one. Here's the EIA one.
Giddy up. Let's get right into it. How do you make money using artificial intelligence and tools like ChatGPT? Well, you first start off by knowing what the hell they really are.
BBC 5 Live, 5 to 5 now.
Here we go. Here we go. If you don't subscribe to our channel, try and get it. If you subscribe, you see a lot of these things. I don't need to point it to you. But if you don't subscribe, you have to do a search each time. So subscribe to our channel and you get all our videos and all the lives we've had. Yes, let's see this. Here we go. That's it. Mangal High. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. This is how it's going to change education. Every single child, just watch this. Please, can you type in the chat box that you can see the change in video now? Thank you, Mangahai, thank you. Putting that there. Look at this. You want to teach algebra, right? You have two options. Go back to the old way of doing things, bad old ways, get a chalk and start talking, or give the students access to this. Let's just listen to this. This will clean up your nurseries. Some of you find algebra difficult, but listen to this. The word is play. The children think they are playing. This as a pathway. Look at exactly what's happening now, because every child loves this. The reason why I love this is because it has music, it has light and bright colors, and is entertaining. You will say, how will AI change the way we learn and what we learn? Look at one simple example, because we found out that mathematics was the most difficult subject in the curriculum for a lot of students, and this, we partnered with them. We enroll all our students on the Manga High, so they have a username that is individual to them, and they have a password. And when they come on, when they log in, they are given this task. Watch this now. You say 7, because that 7 matches 7. Can you see you are solving the equation? Watch what's happening in thinking 0 and 0. Look at this. All of this is being mediated by AI. So when I made a statement and a lot of my detractors attacked me for it, this is what they didn't see that I saw. My detractors attacked me because I said they should ban textbooks from the classroom and allow the students to use AI and apps to interact. Why? Because we found out that our students that were 6-year-olds that went through this game went and wrote the same exam with 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds, and 18-year-olds. And our 6-year-olds that went through this scored more marks than 300,000 boys and girls that follow the traditional routes. This is documented. Let me again share this with you, because I hate to be telling you stories when we can verify them or validate them. Let's go here. Let's come here. Let me show you. You would have seen this. Those of you that read the Times of London would have seen this when it came out, because it was controversial. It was regarded as I was quoting controversy when I was really saying the truth. Look at this is Google. Again, please go on your Google now and type in ban textbooks. Ban, B-A-N, textbooks, and Professor Chris Imafidon. Professor Chris Imafidon. You will see it on your search. Look at what happened. Can you see this? He said Professor Man said he was very proud of the daughter, and then wants all the students' books to be banned because they are digital natives. Look at it. Again, I'm going to put this in the link. If you have any niece, nephew, look at it. Look at what I said here. It was in the Sunday Times of the 19th of December 2021. And I said very clearly, they should forget about educating the children as if they are grandpapas. They should educate them like digital natives. And all my critics were all in arms, fighting me, saying, oh, you shouldn't say that. Why are you saying that? Because our 6-year-olds that did not use any textbook were able to score more marks than 17-year-olds that used it. So are we going to say because we love textbooks, that's the one link? Let me just show you the other link, because I have the second half of the class to go through with. Okay, here is the Times original story that said I wanted all textbooks removed because they were designed by the devil in hell. Here is it. I want to send this to everybody. Everyone in this meeting should see this link. It's impossible for you to private chat me because you can't hear? Really? Okay. Anyway, we'll be able to correct that. Let me put this on digital natives here. So if you want to learn a language, exactly the same thing. We have an app that can teach you a language in 3 days, a brand new language in 3 days. Brand new language in 3 days, not spending 5 years to learn one language. That's too late. In the age of AI, you can learn a brand new language in 3 days. Here's the other link. So the links I'm giving here are gifts. I want you to go and explore it after this evening and make up your mind whether you want to use the old ways or not. And those of you that are interested in still coming, thank you for those that are back channeling me about coming for the bank holiday. Yes, if you are free to come to London for the bank holiday, you need to do one simple thing. I'm speaking this weekend at EdTech in San Francisco. We should team up for USA token. Yeah, I'm ready to collaborate, brother or sister, or whoever is putting that. Yes, of course, I'm very happy to collaborate with EdTech because there's no way we can examine, teach, and support all our students using the traditional method. I'm sorry to say this. It's impossible for us to continue to use the old tools and get any new results. It's impossible. And I stand by what I said to the Times of London. I didn't want to be controversial. I was telling the truth as I knew it. Ban or recommended textbook, period. And release AI Because the children are already using it. I really don't understand why people do this. Children are already using it anyway. They don't need your attention. They don't need your permission to use the new tools on their cell phones. Students are already using apps for entertainment. You might as well use it for education and use it for empowerment. So I mustn't forget, let's quickly go and do the next bit of the journey. Thank you. Those of you that are here, let me share my link. Follow me on LinkedIn. Not because I want followership. I already have more than enough followership. All my students follow me. So if I'm looking for followership, if I want to be popular, my students they love following me. So I'm not doing this because I want more followership. I'm doing it so that you can get value. When I share anything, you see it and then you benefit from it. So if you are on LinkedIn, follow me. If you have time, you can go and write on my recommendation. If you found anything useful today, you can go and send me a connection request. And please make reference to this. Make reference to this session that we met at this session on AI. Okay, so that's my LinkedIn page for those of you that ask. Follow me on LinkedIn. If you are on Twitter, also follow me on Twitter. I have a Twitter account. If you're on IG, follow me on IG. Of course, how will I not have an IG account? Have an IG account. So follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me if you want value, because I always share, and I share the things that are significant to your professional development. I'm sorry, I don't share what I have for breakfast. My page on social media is a professional page for me to reach out to my students. It's not entertainment. So I don't share a cat and a dog scratching the wall that went viral. I don't share such things. I'm sorry. Because we've got to do things and got to be serious with this too. We can't take it as a toy. So on the LinkedIn page, you can share. Now let me go to my PowerPoint slides. Thank you. If you sent any requests to me, please indicate that you were in this meeting, because I have many unattended requests. Let me see whether I can share that with you. Yeah, this is my LinkedIn page. And then if you see my network here, let me click on it. You will see that I have very many requests. Can you see invitations of people wanting to be my friend on LinkedIn? I had to vet you. There are 230 of them right now on the waiting list to become my friend. Look at it. 230 people want to be my friend. So if I want to be popular, I'll just click on accept all. I won't do that. I vet you and make sure that you are someone that is really, really serious, wanting to change your lives or affect others. Then I accept you. And I don't accept trolls as well. So that's that about LinkedIn. Then let's back to our PowerPoint slide. Back to our PowerPoint slide. On how AI can change all your meetings and make sure that you are more productive than you can ever think of. Okay, now I'm clicking on share. Please, if you can see my slides, I need you to go straight to your chat box and type in slides. SLIDES, slide. If you can see the slide now, I've changed the slides. I need to be able to run through this slide because of the limited time. And if you're in London, by any chance, during this bank holiday, there's public holiday on Monday in London, in the city, we're having a special session where we'll have a deep dive. And that is going to be a workshop. Please, you're not going to come here and listen. You're going to come here and do. Just type do, D-O. You're going to come here and do activities that will transform your use of AI. We are not going to talk about AI theory. We're not going to talk about how AI got developed. We're not going to talk where AI came from. We are not interested in that. We are only interested in using AI to change the narratives about the institutions we work for, the team that works for us, and how we can optimize it. So if you are not interested in learning to earn, please do not bother coming. And this meeting is oversubscribed at $1,000. People paid $1,000 a long time ago to book on it because they knew the bank holiday, the last bank holiday was the time for them to refresh because we are hitting the halfway through the year. Some of us made some New Year resolutions and economically had some targets with revenue, and some people are falling behind. That's why we are having a mid-year review. This is the last bank holiday in the first half of the year. After that is June. So people that want to boost their productivity, tweak their performance, have sharpened their skills, and they are coming, and we only have limited tickets for people that want to come. If you're on this call, you're not going to pay £1,000, of course. You're not going to pay 500. You're not even going to pay half of that. I'll tell you what you have to pay when I have seen your profile and you have written what you learned from this. So if you do this test, you may be allowed to come into that meeting, because that meeting is made up of people that are in the cutting edge of making multiple millions for their companies. So if you're not interested, it's a business meeting, serious for serious-minded individuals that want to meet their revenue targets and are falling behind. They want to meet their economic targets and they are falling behind. And others are already ahead and they want to boost it. That's what that meeting is about. Let me just get that off my chest. And here is it. The book I told you about, The Queen, I shared this earlier. You saw this on Amazon. That is Sir Ken Olisa. This guy is the technology genius that works with royalty and one of the brains behind all the things you see on social media regarding the government, Her Majesty's Education Department, Her Majesty's Health Department. He's the guy behind it. That's him there. I just wanted to let you know that AI is not new. AI may be new to you, but it's not new to most people. Every single student here, this was what I was mentioning earlier, using AI. Every single student here, all the students we are seeing here, whether you are Japanese, whether you are Chinese, whether you are Indian, is irrelevant. All of them have already passed their high school diploma exam, all of them, using AI. Every one of them got a distinction. And every one of them got multiple scholarships. Each scholarship is worth $100,000 and plus. Check this Twitter handle and go and check it out. This has been independently validated by top publications in the UK. Even by the tabloid, the Daily Mail even ran a big story on it. So if your son, your daughter, your niece, your nephew, your staff member is finding it difficult to understand concepts that is impacting their work, is because they have not been given the opportunity to do this. Okay. Now here is those of you that are familiar with AI would have seen this. Here I'm looking at the practical application. This is what we are going to do, a deep dive during the bank holiday. All of us that had iPhone in 2011 had what is called Serial. There's a home key. If you press it, you can interact with Siri. That was a measure of artificial intelligence used for dealing with human and natural language inquiry. This is one of the things we discussed yesterday at the University of Cambridge with Dr. Geoffrey Hinton, the godfather of, guess what, AI, who predicted in 1986, go and check, he wrote a paper in a journal called Nature as a cognitive psychologist, looking at neural networks, how the natural language processing is going to be modified and therefore modify our devices and do things that we never anticipated. This paper, this particular slide, I borrowed it from my mentee after he made a presentation at MIT, looking specifically at what AI could do. Then, after using Siri, some of you use Siri, there's something called Cortana. Cortana was a Microsoft application designed to assist you in doing what? In responding to emails. I don't need to waste my time telling you about Alexa, the voice-activated AI device that is in your house now. They call it smart speakers. You are able to tell it to listen to BBC News or BBC Stand. You tell it. You don't even need to type anything. And those of you that have followed my work with Stephen Hawking, such Stephen Hawking, I probably need to do a session there later. But when you come for a deep dive, we're going to work on Stephen Hawking. How I was able to translate thinking into voice. Although it was monotone, but everybody was able to hear Stephen Hawking navigate his disability. This gentleman was severely disabled because of motor neuron disease. And the way AI came to the rescue. That as a professor in a wheelchair, man, this is very moving for me. It's emotional for me because we still went back to his office last week. We're still in his office at Gonville and Keys College, part of University of Cambridge campus, to see what Stephen Hawking was able to do because of the assistance of technology and AI technology. Most of you have Google Assistant. What I'm sharing today is on Fred, which is the AI that assisted me in producing those books. The AI that assisted me, listen to this, in attending 60. You are able to attend up to 60. You can test it yourself. Once you get a subscription of AI, of Fred, you can test it and see it. You log into different meetings from only one device. And that was something I call that my lockdown present, because lockdown forced all of us into this new way of life. And I'm going to share a little bit more on Fred now. This is Firefly. Somebody asked a question earlier about Fireflies. Listen very carefully to this. Because all the decisions in your organization, whether you are a charity or you are a profit making or you are for profit, every one of us is now living in a data dependent world. Every one of us. If you are in a barber shop, you find out how many days of the week you open and which day is the most quiet of all the days. If Thursday is your most quiet, it's because you have data about the sales that you took on Thursday. If Saturday is your busiest, it's because you have data. Every single organization or institution now depends entirely on data for their decision making. Every one of them. How you are able, therefore, to navigate your enterprise wide, you can capture the screen. Those of you on Facebook, just grab the screen because I need you to take this home and go and digest it. When a sale comes straight to your company, who picks it first? And how does the sale person take the data, the information, and where do they pass it on to? How does the executive, the leadership, interact with the data? Listen to this, because all the dysfunctionality we have with our government right now in the UK about schools is down to this. Can you see the animation now? Please watch what is happening right now. Watch the yellow line movement. Look at where it's centralized and look at where it's distributed. your marketing department will know where best to market, where to push your product, where to discuss your product based on the information they get from sales. Can you see how it's moving? Your customer success is dependent on what you did in terms of serving them. What were the real points that convinced your customers that they were the best? Your customer support, can you see the movement of data across an organization to optimize your delivery and completely wipe out your competition? Your competition cannot even stand you. If you're an individual, how do you manage multiple platform appearances? How do you promote your product to a global audience, not to your 17 friends, and 2 of them will pay, and 1 of them will ask for refund? No. How do you reach a worldwide audience of people that do need? That means without it, they can't exist, your product, or need your services. How do you reach them? This is something we are going to have a deep dive over. If you already have a Fireflies account, you will have seen some of this on my share. I shared it in LinkedIn. And I think also the main press also published it. Let me just see whether I can pull that up. I'll pull that up for everybody to see. And let me pull that up. Let's switch from PowerPoint slide because I really want all of us to take some decisions today. To be successful and step up to the new reality, or to continue our relationship with our broke friends and ask for money or go on fundraising. You have the option. This tool makes you a New York Times bestseller. This tool makes you an award-winning keynote speaker. This tool opens every single door for you. I had a student that became a non-executive director in the company he was working at as a part-time cleaner. Let me say this slowly. He was a student in the university. He was working as a cleaner, a part-time, and he became a non-executive director in the same company. So I'm not here to entertain you. No. I'm not here to educate you. No. I'm here to empower you with the information that you require to rewrite your narrative and change everything about you and everything about your team if you're working with a team, and everything about your family if you're working with a family, and everything with your business if you're working in a business. Let me pull this up, and I need to be able to just show you this because we did African Voice published. Yes, I think it's here. Okay, let's go back to Google. Let's go back to your friends of Google now. Or another thing, if you come on the course, if you come on the bank holiday one week, I'll show you what is better, what is 10 times better than Google, and also better than ChatGPT. So, okay, here, I think it was African Voice, and it was Sam Dutong and Chris Imafidon. You need to type this in to be able to pull this out of Google, because if I give you a screenshot on my PowerPoint slide, you might just think that I photoshopped it, but I need you to go and get this. Now, everybody, please go back to your Google. If you are seeing my slide, make sure you go back to your Google and type in African Voice, Sam Oduton, Professor Chris Imafidon, and see what happens. Ladies and gentlemen, this will clear all your skepticism. Can you see that? Secrets of Success of Sam Oduton. This was published June 2021, long before ChatGPT was made available. The Secrets of a Multi-Millionaire. Please look at this. Look at this. I need all of you to look at this. The industrial impact, this is it. From Silicon Valley. I can share this with you. This is how a techpreneur hit multi-million-dollar success despite the fact that we were locked up All of us were in lockdown, and some of us gave up, and others looked up and pulled ourselves up. This is how Fireflies attracted an additional 19 million bucks. Look at it. And some of you are struggling to pick this up. Some of you are struggling to pick this up. Let me share the link in the chat box. I need to share this link so that you see, because this is not a story. This is a reality that was involved in. I was in the first hand, Silicon Valley, when the seed, $5 million seed was given. Let me put this in the chat box. I'm putting this in the chat box now. This is it. Those of you that couldn't do the Google search and get it, I've put it as a gift. I need all of you that are on this call. If you are going to come into the city one, you must do what I'm asking you to do now. You must outline in 2 pages what you learned in this session. Number 1, outline it. Number 2, give me the action point. What you are now going to do differently that you never did before. What you never thought of before, you must outline it on a 1 A4 page. Outline, you don't need to write story. I will do this, I will do that, I will do this, I'll do this, I'll do that. When you have done that, the top 7 people to do it, the first 25, guaranteed, I'll look at it. The top 7 people to do it will then get the invitation to come and join us at the mid-year review. Is exclusively for millionaires and multimillionaires. But I'm giving you the opportunity to join. You can see Samuel Dutton, you saw that there. If you are not in London, you are in Düsseldorf, or you are in Johannesburg, or you are in Quebec, or Beijing, there is a locked in, closed network where you can join us online and follow. But ladies and gentlemen, it's not a place to come and listen to lectures. It's a place to do things with your device, your cell phone, your laptop, so that next day, money will enter into your account. It's a purely economic activity. We're not giving you information so that you can take notes and take notes. No, we are giving you information so that you can carry out tasks. Thank you very much for reminding us. Yes, if you want to come on this program in the City of London, that is exclusively for the heavyweights, millionaires and multimillionaires, you must write for me what you gained from this initial session today. And it must be in 2 pages at least. What you learned, what new you learned. Say how it might affect the business you run, how it might affect the institution you are part of, how it might affect the charity you run, how it might affect your professional duties, activities, and success. Please, this is only for men and women. It's not for boys and girls. You understand what I mean? It's not for children economically. No. It's for people that understand what a 6-figure is and what impact it will make to their environment. So if you are not interested, please, you're still my friend on Facebook. I still love you. That's fine. But if you want to come, for you to get the invitation and be told the condition you need to meet, because we are going to hear Robert Kiyosaki. I know some of you have heard about that. And if you register for it, you get a free copy of the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. You get a free copy of the book written by the person that designed Huawei. And you also get a free invite to an exclusive royal event that will be taking place in the palace. You get a free invite to a special conference of serious player using blockchain, the technology of blockchain. How does it help you if you're a professional? How does it help you if you're a business owner? Blockchain combined with AI, how will that explode your bank account and add a few more zeros to what you had last month? If you're interested in this and this only, then please, you need to submit this work. If you submit it, I will put it across to my colleagues and my team, and they will evaluate it. And those ones that are found worthy will be invited to join. Don't worry if you are not physically in London. There is the online version they've opened up, and you'll be given the necessary tools. Your hand will be held so that when you make mistake and stumble and fall, will help you get up. So it's not just going to be me talking. Stefan, I know some of you know Stefan. You saw him at the coronation. Stefan was there, and he did some work. And Stefan will also share with you what he did with the rehearsals for the coronation. But more than anything, he's an entrepreneur. He's a consummate entrepreneur. You're going to hear from Stefan. Like I said, you're going to hear Robert Kiyosaki's views on what is happening now and what's going to happen with the economy. You're going to hear, you're going to hear from Geoffrey Hinton. Geoffrey Hinton, the father. I keep calling him the father, but I'm wrong. He is the godfather of AI. Geoffrey Hinton. He won the Nobel Prize equivalent in computing. King's College, Cambridge educated. Thank you very much, Brandy, for making this. Please don't forget there is a message in the text box of what you must do. There's a message in the text box of what you must do. Write 2 pages, what you gained and how it may affect your business that you run, the institution that you run or you're a member of, the charity that you run or you're a member of, your professional business, the impact it's going to make on your environment, and we will give you a ticket to a royal institution hosted event on blockchain. So on Monday, bank holiday, we're going to do some work. That's why it's called a workshop, not a talk shop. It's a workshop. We won't allow you to talk. We allow you to use your device and your computers to be able to change your narrative. Thank you. Where can I find AI Fireflies? If you're able to join us, I'll show all of you the link and how you can join and subscribe to AI, Fred AI. Fred AI, Ask Fred, makes Google look like a dummy. Google looks like a dummy. Fred AI makes Google look like a Ask Fred, he makes Google look like a dummy, and he makes ChatGPT look like a joke. This is the truth, ladies and gentlemen. If you like, you can make a choice. But today you'll be given the opportunity to upgrade on your life. So gain more money to give your wife, earn more money for your family, and change your community. So please, I want to go into a session of the last session of question and answer, and then we'll close for the day. I want to thank you for your participation. I really don't want to abuse your time. I was going to play a video for you, on this. I'll see. Please ask any questions based on what I've said so far. Clarity about bank holiday, what you are going to do on the bank holiday. Why you must learn to stop using pen to write. None of my staff use pen anymore. You can't use pen, you can't use paper. Why? Because there's a superior AI assisted tool. You don't need to buy it. It's already in your phone. Every single smartphone has it. The reason why you don't use it is that you don't have any of your friends that use it. So it's like somebody walking when they can fly. When you walk, you're tired and you can't cover much distance. If you fly with a helicopter, you are there ahead of time. So we tell you the risk involved with it. We're flying, just that there's some risk with AI, and we tell you how you can mitigate the risk while boosting your productivity by 100%, 100 times. The book was just an example. You can generate videos until the cows come home. You can have blog posts translated to multiple languages. With 2 lines of code, ladies and gentlemen, you can translate your entire website. You know, some of you now are doing business in one area and in one nation. So you're only doing business in the US, and therefore your website is in English. We will show you using 2 lines of code to translate your entire website into French. And you will now start getting customers from Quebec, French Quebec, French Canada. You get customers from Paris. You get customers from Guadeloupe. This is what my students have done. This is how they were able to quadruple their economic power. They went into new markets, and the only thing that was blocking their old markets was the linguistic barrier. We broke the linguistic barrier and had their products, their services, and their brochures available in German. So they were able to get German clients. Oh, is Christian on this call? Christian is not on this call. Christian, which of the platform are you on? Again, I will share his testimony with you. Came to London for one of our programs, German, and now has written a book in English. The floodgate that will open up to you. Just imagine if you have customers in other languages that are right now not involved. Right now, the product or services that you have may be required by somebody in China. But because you do not know Mandarin, you can't say ni hao, you can't say CSA, you can't say Sejen. That Chinese market is locked from you. We will show you how to unlock it using AI. So that you now have a flood of Chinese customers coming or Chinese clients coming because you have what is called, you are speaking their language. Those of you that are Spanish, Española, you see that the market may not be available to you. We'll see how you can have a translation of your entire market in Spanish and give it available to them. So you broaden your market. And let me leave you with the last gift. Everybody here can have a website selling products that you have used. You don't have to make the products. Everybody here can have what is called an affiliate website. So I read the book by Barack Obama. I love the book by Barack Obama. I reviewed the book on Barack Obama, and I put a link on my page so that anybody that read the book will also be happy. How do you read the book? You get the book. When you click on get the book, I get paid for every single person that read the Barack Obama book. Let me show you. I need to quickly show you that. I mean, AI just extends your capability and makes you an instant multimillionaire. Instant. You are not doing any new work. You are just inspiring the AI to do more work on your behalf. Please, can you write that down? I'm not asking you to do more work. No, 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 no. I'm asking you to inspire AI to do more work on your behalf. And everybody on the planet Earth will think you did all the hard work. Meanwhile, what you did was provide an inspiration for you to do this. And myself and my student, we did a book. Again, I'm telling you this book. Don't go and buy the book. Don't buy the book. It's a book I wrote, but don't buy it. I'll tell you why you need to don't buy it. But I just want to use it to show you something. I'm using the book to demonstrate to you. A student of mine that's based in Africa, a senior manager in a power generation company, sat down with me, told me what their problem was, and then we came out with a manager training manual. I mean, how to train the managers of his company to do more. Please type do more on the chat. Type do more. Do more with less time and less energy. Please type do more. Let me know you're there. Let me show you this. I need to show you this. Just type do more. Look at what we did. The student of mine told me this and said they had problem and we came. Okay, this is the one we're sharing earlier. Thank you for those of you that have seen it. I hope you've read it because you're a multi-millionaire. I know that. I'm not asking you. Because most of you are smarter than my students have become. Look at it. This is the one. This was in, what month was this? This is June the 5th, 2021. And you've seen this. He's the co-founder of Fireflies. And he's changed everything. Using a new algorithm. Algorithm is the big word for saying new formula. Fireflies changed everything. This was somebody that was only an undergraduate student in 2014. And now he's a multi-millionaire. He's on his way to being a billionaire. Look at it. You need to see this because when you see it, your low self-esteem, that's what I was sharing with you earlier, will completely change. That is Fireflies. Everything will change. Everything will change. Because by the way, the government is now using Fireflies. So I said I was going to show you another opportunity here. So we're going to demonstrate this to you. Online. Yes, this is it. This is it. I need to show this to you. This was the one you saw earlier. Okay. Okay, let me see this.
Hello and welcome to Talking Politics with myself, James Cordwell. So what's in the programme today? Well, it's all things royal and premier. Now, King Charles III held his first state visit this week, in fact, playing host to South African President Cyril Ramaphosa. A full state banquet, a private meeting with the Prime Minister at Number 10 and a visit to the Royal Botanical Gardens followed, where Prince Edward and President Ramaphosa toured the gardens in Kew here in London and listened, apparently, to talks about plants. Well, the visit came as Britain and South Africa announced a new health and science partnership covering vaccine manufacturing, genome sequencing, climate change and other areas too. But what goes on behind the scenes? What important events are discussed and what do these state visits mean for the UK and South Africa both? Well, earlier in the state visit, a royal banquet where King Charles and the South African president spoke. Take a look.
It is only by working together across our countries and our generations that we will tackle some of the greatest challenges of our times. For instance, our collaboration in science and innovation is literally vital in order to protect our people's health by preparing for future pandemics. Perhaps, above all, we must find and implement practical solutions to the twin existential threats of climate change and biodiversity loss.
In times of uncertainty and instability, a relationship such as ours is particularly important. We are urged and, in a way, compelled by our common commitment to peace, stability, democracy, and shared prosperity to work together to overcome the difficulties of the present and prepare ourselves for the challenges of the future. We look forward to strengthening the ties between the British people and the people of South Africa through areas such as tourism, sports, arts and culture. Your Majesty, when it comes to sport, I think it is perhaps best that I steer clear away from the upcoming match on Saturday. And even as we seated close to each other, it is best that you and I should steer clear of that and not talk about it.
So the South African president talking about the football going on in Doha. But what else did the two heads of state discuss? Now, joining me on set to discuss these matters is our insider, the man with the inside knowledge, Professor Chris Imafidon. Welcome to the programme, Professor.
Thank you very much for your kind invitation.
Can you tell us your impressions of the pomp and ceremony of a state event and what was discussed between the two heads of state, do you think?
Wow. It's always something that is jovial, something that is comical, something is always lighthearted. But the interesting thing that terribly of the record was the fact that the dietary requirements of the Western nation is slightly different from the African. You see, the African enjoys a lot of carbohydrate. There's a lot of burning of fats and activities. So that informs the way the African feeds. But when you're having a state banquet, or in fact the last banquet we had, which was hosted by the Lord Mayor, it's slightly different. The menu is not that of a familiar African meal. So I think that's the part of it. It was all very lighthearted, a meeting of minds, understanding that we have a new king that is very dedicated to a conviction. This is the difference between politics and monarchy. Conviction-driven monarchy that wants to see change this time. He wants to see positive change. And he literally expressed his mind freely when it came to that.
It's interesting, really. I quite like Cyril Ramaphosa at the end of the little speech we saw where he said that we have to talk about the football. Cyril Ramaphosa seems to be a man ready and willing and able to laugh and joke, and he smiles all the time. Is that your impression?
He doesn't take himself seriously. In fact, you walk past him, you know, he's the president of security. And he's very down to earth. His modesty, his humility shines through both formal and formal conversation.
So how did King Charles III perform at his first ever state visit as head of state for the UK?
I don't know whether I'm qualified to score him, but if you compare the previous visits that were hosted by late Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, he did excellently well. This is a flying start. Considering the fact that, like you said, exclamation of football, there was a big global event taking place at the same time. So the media coverage that is almost always front cover of all the major newspapers could not happen because of the controversies in football, the fact that it's taking place in the wind. Okay, thank you very much. I hope all of you were able to get that message that we're trying to convey there. What you didn't know, or what the media didn't tell you, is that most of these meetings, including the jokes that the South African president was sharing, the entire meeting, this is one thing I get really, I get very agitated by, was AI mediated. I hope everybody, you are listening to me. The whole meeting was AI mediated. The multiple meetings, the fringe meetings, the side meetings. You know, when two great men meet or when senior politicians meet, you take your secretaries with you. Now, in this particular state visit, majority of the scribes, you used to have what is called the scribes. They write down things that are said by big people. Guess who wrote down the script for this meeting? This is two presidents, two heads of state meeting. And then we had the ministerial meeting. Those of you that follow me on social media will have seen some of this, by the way. You will have seen that just the speed, the sheer speed of things happening couldn't have happened without a team of crack secretaries. But using AI, please, is impossible for you to achieve the same result. So I would just want to pull this to, is Mark still around? Mark, I think Mark is probably dropped off. Is Mark on? Mark, where are you? Mark is probably dropped off. Because there's something I wanted him to remind us, all of us, about. Okay. If you have any more questions, please put it in. Say, do more with less energy. That's absolutely true. I have to. Oh, thank you. Bradley, thank you. Is there any other questions you have you want me to answer? Because I hate to just baptize you with slides and bore you with boring notes and specific actions you're going to take to be able to move your organization forward and be in the millionaire box, multi-millionaire box.
Professor Chris, hi, thank you. That was absolutely fascinating. My question is, as part of my book, I interviewed a number of people, and I was going to transcribe it anyway using transcribing tools. And I think even it was on Zoom, and I think Zoom also has a transcribing tool as well. I mean, how would you merge things like interviews and even your own stories to AI drafting a book on your behalf?
I wish you'd be around because we have a session on that on the bank holiday where we will in live, just like I'm doing now, demo how Fred will transcribe it, because the Zoom transcription has a lot of errors in it. Up to now, Zoom is not refining that because they don't see that as their core service. They don't see transcription as part of the deal. They just want to facilitate meetings. I understand that. But what Fred has done is refined it that even if you are transcribing medical jargons, Fred understands it and transcribes it for you. If you are discussing political jargons, it does it. If you now go to law, it does it for you. So I will advise you to use a specialist transcription facility that does a reversal. Reversal is text to voice and then voice to text. That's what you are looking at now. You're able to
Sure.
do that and use the ones that are tried in your niche or in your area, or train a generic one. I'm sorry to use the word train to everybody here, because your AI gets trained, quote unquote. That means gets used to your
Mhm.
accent. If you're speaking with a Scottish accent, it gets used to it. English accent, it gets
Yes.
used to it. So those are the nuances around massive transcription. And by the way, if I knew you were going to interview people, there's a way you can set it up in such a way that it will give you live transcription. So at the end of the interview, you
Right.
hit enter and you give it to the person that you interview and say, sir, can you cross-check what I just wrote now based on what you did? And the person will look at it and think that you really wrote it. You didn't write it. It was your AI that transcribed the thing, and you give it to them. They'll read the document and send it back to you and say approved. Or read the document and say, please, can you amplify this? Or can
Yeah.
you modify this? So it looks like a great candidate that can come on this program, but you've got to do the work, the homework of right. If you're able to
Yes.
write that, you probably might be able to benefit directly from
Sure.
generating your ideas into books as well using AI.
Okay. I'll do the homework. Unfortunately, I won't be around for on Monday, but I'd love to participate. And I think you said there's a virtual facility for that.
Yes, there's a virtual class. Just hang on a minute. From what you said now, it reminds me.
Mhm.
I don't know whether the conversation is online. There's a conversation I had with Stephen. Does everybody here know Stephen Hawkins?
Yes.
If you're on this call, you know Stephen Hawkins, just type yes, Stephen Hawkins. Stephen Hawkins. If you know Stephen Hawkins, I want you to go to your Google, type in Sir Stephen Hawkins, because he was my senior colleague in Cambridge. So Stephen Hawkins, and then Professor Chris Imafidon. And see there was some, I don't know whether the video, they pulled it down or it's still there. Ah, yeah, it was Cambridge News that had it. Cambridge News, Stephen Hawkins. Let's see. We might be lucky. Here is the video. Let's see. Stephen Hawkins could, like everybody knows, had motor neuron disease and therefore could not speak. So he could only think. And as he was thinking, these AI tools were picking up his thinking and converting them into voice. Wait, let me see. Oh, Lord. Stephen Hawkins. Oh, this is taking me to his funeral. This is taking us to his funeral. Elon Musk. Oh. It's taking us. Let me see this. You know, that's the problem with the internet, with the website. They move things around. Let me see. Stephen Hawking was a great inspiration to all of us. In Cambridge in 1992. The work we did. Let's see how this goes. There's some video of it, but I just wanted to demonstrate to you. The Americans had it. He broke This is the Colorado radio. Do they have it? Colorado radio. They're still talking about his funeral. I'm talking about what he did in life. What he did in life. Oh, this is about my tribute to Hawkins. I think they are talking about what I said about Stephen Hawkins and the tools he used. When he had the American Institute of Mathematical Science in Cape Town, and we're talking about the genius one. It's a shame. I think somebody's pulled down the video. I'll show you. I'll still share the link with you. Some of the work we collaborated. I was privileged to collaborate with Hawkins when he was alive. He really changed the way my students saw things, so I was quite close. So I've shared the Stephen Hawkins one there. Those of you that are not familiar with him, he was somebody that was given up for dead, really, and they expected him to die before the age of 30. But he survived, but he lost his voice. He lost quite a lot of his muscle function. And but because of that, we had to adapt technology to get him to speak. The wife is another person. I don't know when she'll be able to meet it. The wife is another person that I probably would have wanted to share on this, because she was involved in using technology to extract his voice and do voice to text and text to voice in ways that natural language, ChatGPT and other AI tools are now doing so effortlessly. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, if that can be done all those years ago, then certainly it should be able to happen, now with the tools around. So yeah.
You just nailed it on the head. AI has been around for many years. But this is it, but the big but here. It was not available to everybody the way it is available now. This is the reason why I signed that letter. There was a letter, Elon Musk sent around, all the tech leaders, Mark Zuckerberg sent. I signed that letter because of that. I signed that letter because AI is now moving from the big boys and the big players to everybody, so that anyone that can use Google can now use AI. If that happens, it levels up the playing field. Therefore, the entire population needs to be reorientated and re-educated to know why you now need AI. It's just like if you ask my mother in 1960, nobody had a laptop. Nobody even imagined it. In the 70s, the big boys, the big companies were able to access IBM, were able to use computational power. In the 1980s, it opened up a little bit. The MOD was able to use computational power. Today, the cell phone you have that you are joining us with, the cell phone you have is 700 times more powerful than the computing power of NASA, the whole of NASA that put a man on the moon. So computing power is not available to everybody. That's how AI is going to be available to every single person. That's why I signed that letter, because anyone alive today that is not using AI to make passive income, the person needs to see a psychiatrist. Period. I'm not choosing my word. Anybody in human form today that lives and eats and breathes and is not using AI to generate income over and above your daytime job or over and above your main business. If your AI is not doing a side hustle for you, go and see a psychiatrist. Because I have 17-year-olds, 16-year-olds, that means teenagers, people starting first year of the university. If I show you what they are doing with AI, I mean, you get annoyed. So why would you do things the hardest possible way? Because you've always done it that way. When you have the opportunity to upgrade, you have the opportunity to upgrade and do things differently, and you are now asking me philosophical questions about AI. I don't want any philosophical questions. I want you to ask me, what can I use AI to do today that will impact my bank account tomorrow? Period. And that's what Sam Odutan did. What can I use AI to do today? And he came up with that very interesting program that has now redefined my life, completely redefined my life, and will redefine your life. You don't even have to be a subject specialist. All you need to do is understand prompt and prompt engineering. And someone was asking me, if you were going to go to university today as a young man, what will you study? I just burst out laughing. There's only one course I will study, and right now it's not even available in the main universities. It's called prompt engineering. That's for another day. If I was going to have my time all over again, the only course I'll study would be prompt engineering. That means designing things that will make me to be able to produce a multi-million-dollar business plan. Listen to this, in minutes. I wrote a song for the coronation of King Charles, and it took me seconds. Let me say this slowly. I wrote a song of 7 stanzas for the coronation of King Charles, and it took me minutes because I was slow. I was aided by AI. I can preach a sermon in your church. I can give a talk in your mosque. I can give a teaching in your temple today, and it will take seconds for me to generate it. This is all we're going to do on Monday, bank holiday. You will do it, I will do it. Remember, it's a workshop. It's not a talk shop. So thank you very much. We've exceeded our time, but it means you enjoy the discussion. It means you enjoy the interaction. I hope you now go now and use it, the information you have here, to uplift your team, to reprogram your entire community, and to economically upgrade every single thing you've done. If you enjoyed today's session, it's available on most of the multiple platforms I mentioned. I think it's available on my Facebook page. Please go and watch it again. If you have any friend that will benefit with them, share them with them again. If you're not on Twitter Spaces, I'm worried for you. Go get Twitter Spaces. If you're not on Clubhouse, I'm extremely, extremely disturbed. Go on Clubhouse and join the rooms that gives you the information that empowers you. If you are not on Instagram, again, I'm worried. If you don't know why I'm making this noise about social media, wait, let me give you a gift. You don't know why, you just say, oh, why is he talking so much about social media? And let me just give you a gift now. So that next time, you won't ask anybody, why is he talking about social media? I'll give you a gift that you can give to any charity that you support. All right. If you worry, why am I so why is you so excited by social media? This is the reason. Because I did training, internal training for my students, and they got blessed by it, and they set this up on Eventbrite. This was done by my student, all done by my student. Let me show you. Share this. Oh, wait. I'll give you a gift. You go on Eventbrite and then book on it, and you know how you can get $14,000 extra for your charity and for your institution. 14,000 guaranteed. This is guaranteed. Your money back. If you can't make $14,000, it's guaranteed. It's social media. You should also prompt search it. Type social media, type Professor Chris Imafidon, and type Eventbrite. All of you, please do that. Social media, because that's scrolling. Go to social media. Type the keyword social media, and then type Eventbrite, Eventbrite, and type Professor Chris Imafidon. There's an Eventbrite program that can clear all this thing. So if you are not on social media, if you are not using social media properly, you are losing $14,000. Guess how often? Every quarter. 14,000. If you can give that out, I have a charity I can nominate for you. $14,000. $14,000. That's how much you're losing. That's how much you're losing. $14,000 every month, every quarter. If you want to know how to do that, you can slide me a DM and say $14,000. I'll send you the link. We'll go and have a look at it. So please don't play small. I beg of you, do not play small. You don't gain anything by playing small. Some foolish people are using this tool for pedophilia, to abuse children. Others are using it for pornography, for abuse women. Let's use it. Let's not abuse it. Let's use it to empower others and generate wealth. Please. So if you're interested, please do the homework. Submit it to me. If you're on LinkedIn, send it to me via LinkedIn mail. Say you participated in this class and you'd like to come for the bank holiday class, workshop, not class, workshop. If you are on Twitter, DM me on Twitter. Those of you in Clubhouse, please just slide a DM to back channel me. Back channel me. On IG, just back channel me. On IG, DM me. IG, if you are on Instagram, that means IG, DM me. If you're on Twitter, please DM me. If you're on Clubhouse, back channel me. If you are on Twitter Spaces, also DM me. If you're on LinkedIn, LinkedIn mail, send to me LinkedIn mail. If you are on Zoom, please, wherever you got the invitation from, it'd be useful. Otherwise, you can type your email in the chat box or your social media credential in the chat box, and we'll try and contact you. And this discussion we're having today on fireflies, let me conclude by saying those that will fly will use firefly. If you're going to walk and ruin your organization, doing things that computers can do for you or that AI can do for you, you'll be tired very quickly. Some of you are doing twice as much work as you're supposed to do. Others are doing 4 times more work they're supposed to do. You got to allow Fireflies to work with you to leverage your data across your functional teams and remove this idea of working in silos. People in sales department don't know what marketing is doing. People in marketing don't know what engineering is doing. People in leadership, executive don't know what's happening. People in legal department don't know what. No, you can't work as silos. That's what the Old Testament, like my RE teacher said. That's the Old Testament. We must move to the New Testament. We must move to the new era. And even if you're in Africa, the 5G has already hit Africa. So Africa, the so-called least developed continent on planet Earth, has now been given the opportunity to catch up because geography no longer matters. That's what matters. What you can see on the screen now, that's all that matters. We will revive the AI tools in them, install them, and use it to change the narrative. This is what matters. All of you on this call, grab this now. This is my LinkedIn contact details. This QR code, you guess, was generated by AI. So I want to thank you for your time, and I look forward to seeing the work you've done and assisting as many people. I would love to be assisted. That is the greatest thing I can share with you. That is the biggest thing I can share with you. There are 20 million jobs in AI that is on field and is predicted to be on field until 2025. 20 million jobs, 20 million jobs. Can you see what opportunity that presents to you? 20 million jobs cannot be filled because the universities are not responding to producing graduates that will step into this job. So tech companies have to train their staff and retrain them to be able to use things like machine learning and understand AI. So this is the battle we are fighting. It's existential. AI is a bigger danger to the whole of humanity than climate change. That's what my friend said. And I have reasons to believe him. AI is of huge importance because it has capacity for damage and destruction as well as reconstruction and development. So we have to be part of the team that will be able to work that through and tell our children this is essentially what we did. So thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you. In the absence of any other question, let's count down and go and get some dinner if you are in Europe. It's dinner time. If you are in the US, you've just missed your lunch, past lunchtime. If you're in the Philippines, thank you for keeping up and staying awake because it's past midnight. We salute all of you that logged in from different time zones in the morning. Thank you. It is 4:30 a.m. Somebody is awake. 4:30 a.m. Which country is that? Somebody just typed 4:30 a.m. I can't believe this. Oh, okay, Jakarta. Yeah, 4:30 a.m. Thank you. Good morning for those of you in Jakarta. It's morning there. Good afternoon. And then good evening for good afternoon to the American friends and brothers, and good evening to our European cousins. I enjoyed the company, your company. I enjoyed your questions. Thank you for your desire and hunger to learn so that you can earn. And let's count down from 3, 2, 0, 1. God bless. Thank you.
Recording stop.